Alright, well, in this box we have an upgrade for this thing that is rather ridiculous. And I've only ever seen it on a YouTube video once, on a SEMA build, I think, on a different Jeep, or a different truck. But I really want my wife to be able to drive this thing comfortably, and at the moment it's a bit tall because she's a little short. So let's see if we can get this thing open and see what we got. Oh yeah, there it is. That's what we got. Rockslide Engineering step sliders. So these, as much as I like these being really cool, clean, and beefy, I'm going to be removing those guards and installing this beast, these beasts, in order to give my wife the ability to get in the truck, because it's a little tall for her at this point. So let's see what the rest of it's in the box. See if we can do anything here. They're very heavy. Of course, that's what we need, is more weight. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And I'll give them credit. They're well packed. Big box of electronics. Alright, come on. Wow, these things are massive. Oh, wow, these are massive. There, I gotta put you down for a second. Don't want to break this. It was expensive. Clunk. Alright. Well, let's go see what we got. Almost knocked the old razor blade. How we achieved that. There's the mechanism. These are pretty stout. Try not to cut the wires. And start off like that. There we go. Wow. All right. Yeah, those are massive. Wow, that's not what I didn't know they were going to be that big. But very cool. I think that's the passenger side. But yeah, so that's our chore for today. So at least get these mechanically mounted, and then I'll do the electrical maybe at some other point. But yeah, so we're gonna just see what it takes to pop these babies off, hopefully without any damage, and see what it takes to put these on. So if I find anything terribly interesting or outlandish during the mechanical installation, I'll let you know. Alright, so I got the old ones off. Those were pretty easy. They are ultra heavy, and I am impressed with the design. It uses 3 factory holes and some big T-nuts, and they just came right off. So that was, whatever these are, they are nice, and I mean they are super beefy. And that looks like, you know, a 1/4-inch plate pretty much for the whole thing. So yeah, those are highly recommended. If you don't need the step, those are fantastic. But we're going to go with these. so that it's a little bit more short people friendly. So I'll clean this up a little bit and see where we go from here. All right, well, I guess I should have downloaded the instructions before I bought this, or before I ordered this thing, so I knew what tools I needed, because there's a couple of specialty things you need in here. Ooh, that's snug. And one of them is a nutsert tool, since this thing is entirely installed with nutserts. And I don't have that, so I'm going to have to go to Harbor Freight, and hopefully they have one. The other thing, that these instructions are not great, considering you got to drill about 20 holes in the Jeep, some of them in the fenders. There's not much. This is the instructions for mounting it. One 8.5 by 11 page. They have no videos for the TJ because, of course, this is 20 years old, so that's not their market. And we got three. One of them's on the truck. 4 spacers. It just says put them in underneath, but there's only 4 and there's 8 bolts on the bottom. I think they go in the rear. I think. So I got to do some thinking on that. I think the 2 in the front actually bolt up to the tub itself, and the 2 in the rear actually get spacers. I'm not 100% sure, but certainly you wouldn't want a big gap in pulling them down, so I don't think they all do, but I'm going to have to fiddle around with that a little bit. I mean, they push up there real nice. But there's like 10 pages of wiring instructions and 1 page of how to drill a bunch of holes in your nice Jeep. So I'm a little disappointed in that, and since I cannot find a video of this installation online, I guess I'm going to make this a little bit more than my normal, hey look, it's done type of video, once I figure out what I'm doing. So I'm going to look at this and think on it a little bit more so I can figure out what exactly they intend, and then I'm going to have to figure out if I can find a nutsert tool locally. Otherwise this may be on hold until Amazon can deliver. So yeah, we're going to see what we can do. I'll be back in a few minutes once I kind of have an idea of what the hell's going on. All right. So yeah, the frame or the tub takes a step up at the motor mount, and so that's where those 1/2-inch spacers go on the back 2 holes on each of them. So that is correct. The other thing I'm looking at is, at this point, and I don't know if it's quite square yet, but I'm running into a couple of existing nutserts from something, or the factory, I'm guessing, because this isn't terribly modified Jeep, and I don't see anybody crazy enough to put nutserts in. So we're going to have to fiddle around with this to get it located, to try to make sure that those are clear of where I'm going to have to drill these holes. Obviously they give you plenty of slop to bolt this up, but we want to make sure this is as clean and properly done as possible, since this is a really nice Jeep and I don't want to frig it up by trying to install something cool on it. So we're going to take a little bit more time, and it generally looks pretty square. I think it's a little low in the back right now. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my lifter a little bit more to the back so I can kind of push it up in the back a little bit and slide it around a little and see what we got here. Alright, so it's even right now front to back, pretty much. Gaps to the fender flare. And underneath, we do have basically a tight compression with the spacer over there, so that's good, and it's pretty much tight up here. But as you can see, I have aligned directly, this one I think will work, but I have directly aligned with this existing nutsert. So I may end up having to drill another hole in here to get around that. What I'll probably do is install all of them except that one and make sure that it's going to work. I think this one's going to be all right. Yeah, I think that one's going to be okay. But that one is dead lined up with it. Absolutely dead lined up with it. So, alright, now we're at least getting somewhere. And all my light, those light wires I didn't like, they had to go away, so that's okay. But yeah, so like I said, we're gonna figure this out. So far, it makes some sense, and I kind of like where it is now. And I don't think that if I slide it forward or back to where it's clean with the fender, that it's going to clear that nutsert any better. Let's go look at the other side and see if we can tell what the heck that nutsert was for. That's it right there. There's several of them everywhere. That may have been something for the original side molding. I don't know. I kind of wish they could have just used those. Would have been a lot nicer. A little easier than trying to stomp nutserts into the side of this thing. And yeah, you're really never going to get away. Yeah, these nutserts are here on the fenders as well, or on the tub as well on the outside. That has to be the original installation of the factory little plastic crap that went over there. That has to be what that is. So they should have known about that. Yeah, and it only goes on one way because you have a cutout for this thing in the body. Yeah, you can kind of see that step up where you need the 1/2-inch spacer. So, yeah, I'm gonna jiggle it around a little bit more and see what I can come up with. Alright, so in my random pile of junk, I have found a fastener that will thread into that, and it is dead lined up center with that factory thing. This one's clear. Those other two look okay, and that's kind of nice because that's holding it tight up here while the jack's holding it over there. I want to say that's good enough. It doesn't, it'll be fine. It's good and solid. So that's where it needs to go. And I may end up actually just using, it's a little bit smaller bolt, but for that front one, I may end up just using the factory nutsert rather than the big one that they send. I mean, I realize it should have the big one, but it's got 3 other ones down there, plus 5 on the top. And I really want to drill through that nutsert if I don't have to. And plus, it's actually kind of helping to locate it. So, alright, well, I'm going to go see, what time is it? Alright, Harbor Freight should be open. I'm going to go see if they have a nutsert pulling tool, because I don't want to drill any holes in this until I have that. Back in a few. Alright, after running all over Baton Rouge, finally got me a good rib nut setting tool, which I think should be adequate for those. And so now we're going to confirm this is where I want it and start marking the holes. They just say to use a magic marker and draw around the holes and shoot for the middle, I guess. I don't have a transfer punch set, so that's what we're going to do. Alright, so there all marked. But look at this. I mean, we got this one perfectly lined up with that. This one's just barely off of that one. This one's just barely off of this one. And that one's dead nuts on that one. Why didn't they just use these? I mean, were they not strong enough, I guess? I don't know. That's kind of annoying to have to drill holes, I mean, literally put riv nuts right next to riv nuts. Granted, they're larger riv nuts, but I may have to drill these out to get enough room to put that in. That's annoying. That's annoying. That's annoying. That is rather annoying. So, let's see what we got here. So that's the front one. No, that's the back one that lines up. I'm going to do the top and see what it would take to use those holes. Because the ones on the side of the Jeep have to be drilled and riv nutted. So we got one in the fender and 4 in the door. If you've got what is an LJ, you've got, I guess, 1 in the fender, 5 in the tub, because it's a little longer. Yeah, so we're going to start drilling some holes. Whee! Alright, so, got our holes, got our drill. Here goes nothing. One of the things I'm going to do a little different than they suggest is they just say drill a hole and then rim it out with a 1/2-inch drill bit, and that's going to make a mess. So I'm going to use a step bit to finish this off because it's all sheet metal anyway, and that won't leave a burr, or shouldn't leave a burr on the inside that's going to screw up the riv nut. Like that. Alright. Says to take this out to 1/2 inch, which seems aggressive. These big long ones are the ones that are going to go here. One more to get to 1/2 inch. That seems about right. Alright, let's see what it takes to lock it in with this new kit. Alright, well, we got this in. Not a lot of penetration on this thing. But we're going to give it a shot, see what it does. That's what I was afraid of. These are so deep that it won't pull. Okay, give me a minute. Alright, well, with a little faffery and some rigging, I think I have this where it'll pull it. Let's find out. Okay, it did. ended up doing is this cap that goes on the end here is too thick to allow the stud to go far enough in. So you take that off, get yourself a washer that'll clear that thing on the inside. This will focus. Like that, and that allows you to get enough of the stud in there and still pull it. So, alright. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we're going to continue, do the other ones, and then mount it and see what the bottom looks like. Alright, so a few little burrs on the inside. If you got yourself one of these deburring tools, you can take those off. This looks like it's got tape or something in there. Not bad though. That was painful. This one, pretty good. So, I'm gonna try to pop the rest of those rib nuts in. Yeah, once you got the tool set up pretty well, it works pretty good. Yep, not bad. Obviously these are a lot more substantial than the factory ones, these little guys, but you know, it is what it is. I'm still seeing what we're going to do on the bottom yet. So, there they are. And I guess now we're going to present the step up there and put some bolts in it and see what it looks like on top, see what it looks like on the bottom now that it'll kind of hold itself up there. So, give me a minute. Alright, well these are just kind of hand snugged at this point. One thing about the bottom, because of the way the rib nuts attach, you end up with about, I don't know, maybe a 1/16 inch gap up here, so it's not flush against the side like you would have done for your first measurement. Now they flex a little bit, but not bad, all things considered. I should probably sweep this, not to roll around in all my drilling shavings. So let's take a look at what we got. All right, that one. Still good. That one's still good. That one's good. And this one is dead on good. So, we are absolutely going to use that. We're going to drill these two center ones right where I have them, as they look fine. Yep, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use the front and the back here, and we're going to use the two centers here, and then we'll go from there. Worst case, if I need to if I feel I need more reinforcement, I'm going to drill another hole either here or here to get it away from that, and we'll just have another hole. And I could also put one right here because this is just a big empty section. I mean, you can see how that clearance is around the body mount, which is nice. See my little puck. All right, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to do these two underneath and then complete the mounting sequence. All right. So I got the two mounted in the bottom, got the 5 on top, got the wiring for that side through the drain hole like it says and plugged in. And so now I got to run to the store and grab some more of these because this is going to be for the front and the back. I think that's going to be good enough. I hope. We will find out if it isn't. But if, yeah, like I said, if I end up having to put another one in somewhere because of that, then so be it. But I think for now these are going to work, because again, I'm not intending to take this out there and turn it on its side on a big rock, but I don't want to have steps that I need to pull off if I ever do go out. Just do a little light wheeling and I don't have to worry about them. So that's the point. Anyway, back after I come back from the store. Alright, well that side's on with all of the fasteners, including my new ones. For what it's worth, those factory units are M6 by 1. The factory key inserts, or whatever, riv nuts. I'm wondering if, because this is an 05, so it's the updated version. I'm wondering if prior to 05 they didn't have those, and that's what this is designed for. Because it would have been a lot easier if they had just used those existing inserts to hold this thing on. So, for whatever that's worth. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to start working on this side now, and it's probably going to go much the same. I am hoping that the same holes that lined up with the lower inserts on the passenger side will line up on the driver's side as well. And then we only have to drill 7 holes instead of 9. So, all right, we're going to start moving. If I find anything different or interesting on this side, I will let you know. All right, so I've got the bottom 2 outer bolts installed with the spacer in the back, and that's absolutely the way to go, because that allows you to get the whole thing pinched up nice and make sure you're going to get your holes for these right where they need to be. So yeah, those are absolutely usable. You know, they certainly could have done that. The top one I can understand what they're doing because it's tall, and they probably couldn't have used the factory ones there. But yeah, they certainly could have used the ones on the bottom. Anyway, again, that might be a 90 whatever 9 to 04 versus 90 or 2005 and 06. So it'll work. So we're now going to mark our holes, drill them, punch in the things, and get this one mounted up. Alright, well that side was the same as the other one, and with the right tools and fasteners it was really quick once I understood really how that went together, and that went on really quick. So it's not bad, but make sure you got a riv nut puller and some M6 by 1s for that front and rear. If you're using, if you're putting this on, I guess, an 05, 06. I mean, the other ones may have them, I don't know. But anyway, so now I've got them plugged in. We're only using one set of the wires that came with it. And now we got the rest of this rat's nest in here that I gotta figure out what in the world to do with. So now I'm gonna start reading some instructions. Well, we've got everything hooked up temporary. I like it. They sound pretty solid. All right, let's try that one. This one over here. Yep. Nice. All right, now we just got to figure out the door switches and route all the wiring harnesses. So they do work. Alrighty. That's pretty good. I like it. Nice. So it works. Now I just got to run all the wires and hide them. So, it's pretty slick. I got to finish gluing the magnets on to the doors. But yeah, that's not bad at all. The only problem with this kit, like I said, was the instructions are not good enough. In my opinion, it's not hard, but given what you have to do to drill into the Jeep, it would be better, in my opinion, to have some much more detailed instructions of how to do that. And I don't necessarily agree with, and I guess they may have tested this on an 04 earlier, which didn't have those existing riv nuts, but I'm really thinking that if they had done that, they could have used all 6 of those existing rib nuts and it would have been plenty strong enough. Anyway, but no, I like it. I think my wife's going to like that. So now I'm going to finish cleaning it up and get all this crap hidden under the carpets and see, maybe take it out for a spin. All right, well, that is quite a bit easier to get in. The only thing I don't like is to keep them active, that little light's going to be on all the time, and I'm sure that's just a little tiny LED, but that's that's going to be a continuous drain. So I may end up getting another switch for it, but that's not a big deal. And if you don't need them, you can just flip that switch and they stay off. Which is pretty cool for if you're out rock crawling. And then if the thing is, you switch that back on, they do a recycle. Yeah, they set themselves. There. Perfect. Now it's on and going. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm not a fan of those, I guess, just from a style perspective. With the factory flares, they don't quite match, but I'm wagering that Rockslide Engineering has some parts and pieces that would fix that. Otherwise, no, that's going to be great. Mona's going to love driving this thing now. So, absolutely perfect. Like I said, the instructions for the mechanical installation were crap. Hopefully this little video can help you out with that before you go hacking holes where you don't want them. But otherwise, no, everything was slick, really, really slick. So, super happy with those. I think Mona is going to be too. Anyway, that's it for the Jeep for today. Hope you're all doing well, and take care.